Imagine not eating or drinking anything for an entire day. No food, no water, no coffee, not even a sip. Sounds dangerous, right? Yet over 1.8 billion Muslims practice this every year during Ramadan. Jewish communities observe it during Yom Kippur. And now biohackers and health enthusiasts around the world are experimenting with it, claiming it supercharges fat loss, deepens cellular repair, and unlocks benefits that regular fasting simply cannot achieve. But what actually happens when you deprive your body of both food and water? Social media is filled with claims that dry fasting burns fat 3 times faster than regular fasting, triggers deeper cellular repair, and produces a kind of internal purification that water fasting simply cannot match. Is dry fasting a powerful healing tool or a dangerous trend that could land you in the hospital? Today, we are going deep into the science. No hype, no fear-mongering. Just the facts about what dry fasting does to your body, what the research actually shows, and most importantly, who should never attempt this. This is educational content, not medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider before trying any fasting protocol. Let's start with the basics. Dry fasting means completely abstaining from both food and all liquids, including water. This is fundamentally different from water fasting, where you stop eating but continue drinking water. It is also different from intermittent fasting, where you have designated eating windows but can still drink throughout the day. With dry fasting, nothing goes into your body. Not a single drop. This practice is not new. It has existed for thousands of years across multiple cultures and religions. During Ramadan, Muslims fast from dawn to sunset for 30 consecutive days, abstaining from both food and water during daylight hours. The Baha'i faith practices 19 days of sunrise to sunset fasting. Yom Kippur involves approximately 25 hours of complete abstinence. These traditions have been followed by billions of people across generations. The fact that these cultures have survived and thrived while practicing dry fasting tells us something important. The human body has mechanisms to handle short periods without water. But understanding these mechanisms is crucial before anyone considers trying this. So what happens in the first few hours when you stop consuming food and water? Within the first 0 to 4 hours, your body begins to notice the absence of incoming nutrients and fluids. Your hypothalamus, a small region in your brain, contains specialized sensors called osmoreceptors. These sensors constantly monitor the concentration of your blood. When you stop drinking, the concentration starts to increase slightly, and these sensors detect the change immediately. But your body does not hit the panic button right away. Evolution designed us to handle fluctuations in food and water intake. Your system has buffers and reserves built in from millions of years of adapting to environments where meals and water sources were not always available on demand. At this stage, your body is simply assessing the situation and preparing to activate its conservation systems. The real changes come as the hours progress. As the hours progress, something remarkable begins to happen. Your body stores glucose in your liver and muscles in a form called glycogen. Here is something most people do not realize. Every gram of glycogen is stored with 3 to 4 grams of water attached to it. When you fast without water, your glycogen stores deplete faster than they would during regular water fasting, because your body needs that stored water. This accelerated glycogen depletion means your body shifts into fat-burning mode earlier than it would with water fasting. This is one reason some people claim dry fasting is more effective for fat loss. But faster is not the same as safer. We will get to that. As your body starts burning fat for energy, something fascinating occurs. Fat oxidation produces byproducts, specifically carbon dioxide and water. Yes, water. When you burn 1 gram of fat, your body produces approximately 1.1 grams of what scientists call metabolic water. In 2016, researchers at Jagiellonian University in Poland conducted a study that challenged everything scientists thought they knew about hydration and fasting. They studied zebra finches under 3 conditions. One group had normal access to food and water. The second group had only water, no food. The third group had neither food nor water for 24 hours. The results were shocking. The birds that had no food and no water generated 6 times more metabolic water than the birds that were drinking freely. Their bodies dramatically increased, fat burning to produce the water they needed internally. Now we are not zebra finches. Human physiology differs in important ways, but this study suggests that mammals, including humans, may share similar survival mechanisms. Our bodies can manufacture water from fat when external sources are unavailable. Evolution built this backup system into our biology. But here is what the social media advocates do not tell you. Just because the body can do something does not mean it should do it regularly or for extended periods. Let us talk about how your body conserves water during a dry fast. Your body has a sophisticated system called the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, or RAS for short. Think of it as your body's water conservation team. When your blood becomes more concentrated or your blood pressure drops slightly, your kidneys release an enzyme called renin. Renin triggers a chain reaction that produces angiotensin, which constricts your blood vessels. Angiotensin then stimulates the release of aldosterone from your adrenal glands. Aldosterone tells your kidneys to hold on to sodium and water instead of releasing them into your urine. Working alongside this system is a hormone called vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone or ADH. When your hypothalamus detects that your blood is becoming concentrated, it signals the pituitary gland to release vasopressin. This hormone travels to your kidneys and activates special water channels called aquaporins on the surface of kidney cells. These aquaporin channels allow water to flow from your urine back into your bloodstream. The result is that you produce less urine, and what you do produce is much more concentrated and darker in color. This is why short-term dry fasting around 12 to 16 hours does not cause severe dehydration in healthy individuals. Your body has multiple backup systems to conserve water. Research on Baha'i fasting, published in Frontiers in Nutrition in 2021, found that participants who practiced 12 to 16-hour daily dry fasts for 19 days showed no critical effects on hydration or kidney function. Their bodies successfully adapted using these conservation mechanisms. But these systems have limits, and pushing beyond them is where danger begins. Some proponents claim that dry fasting triggers a deeper form of autophagy than regular fasting. Autophagy is the process where your cells break down and recycle old damaged components. It is like a cellular cleaning system. A study published in 2025 examined people who fasted during Ramadan and found that the Beclin-1 gene, which initiates autophagy, showed significantly increased expression in the fasting group. This suggests that dry fasting does engage autophagy processes. However, and this is important, similar autophagy activation occurs during water fasting as well. There is currently no definitive evidence that dry fasting produces superior autophagy compared to water fasting. The research simply shows that both can trigger cellular cleanup. Now let us examine what the science actually says about the health claims. You have probably heard that dry fasting detoxifies the body. Here is the reality. Detox is a marketing term, not a medical one. Your body has a real detoxification system. Your liver converts harmful substances into less harmful ones. Your kidneys filter your blood and remove waste through urine. Your lungs expel carbon dioxide. Your skin eliminates some substances through sweat. Here is the problem. Your kidneys need water to function properly. They need fluid to flush out waste products. During dry fasting, kidney function can actually decrease because there is less fluid available for filtration. So the claim that dry fasting enhances detoxification is not supported by physiology. In fact, it may temporarily reduce your body's ability to eliminate waste. What about the immune system? Does dry fasting boost or suppress immunity? In 2022 and 2023, researchers at Baylor College of Medicine conducted one of the most detailed studies on human dry fasting. They analyzed the protein profiles of immune cells in people practicing dawn to dusk dry fasting for 30 days. The results were promising. They found protein changes associated with anti-atherosclerotic effects, meaning protection against artery hardening. They also found anti-inflammatory and anti-tumor protein signatures, most notably apolipoprotein B, which is actually a better predictor of heart disease than LDL cholesterol, decreased significantly during the fasting period and remained lower even 1 week after fasting ended. Another study from Mount Sinai School of Medicine in 2019 discovered a fascinating mechanism. During fasting, immune cells called monocytes enter a kind of sleep mode. These sleeping monocytes produce less inflammation than active ones. This may explain why fasting is associated with reduced chronic inflammatory conditions. And in 2024, researchers at Cambridge University found that fasting increases levels of arachidonic acid in the blood. Surprisingly, this arachidonic acid inhibits something called the NLRP3 inflammasome, which is essentially an inflammation triggering machine inside your cells. When you eat again, arachidonic acid levels drop immediately and inflammation can resume. These findings are genuinely exciting. But notice something important. The Baylor study examined intermittent dry fasting, 12 to 16 hours per day, not extended dry fasting. The participants were otherwise healthy. And similar benefits have also been observed with regular water fasting and time-restricted eating. Let me ask you something. At this point, what has surprised you more? The fact that your body can actually manufacture its own water from fat, or the serious risks that many people are not aware of? Drop water or risks in the comments. I'm curious what stands out most. Because now we need to talk about the dangers, and they are real. Your kidneys are the organs under the most stress during dry fasting. They need fluid to filter your blood and remove waste products. When you deprive them of water for extended periods, your blood becomes thicker and more concentrated. Your kidneys have to work harder with less resources. One endocrinologist reported that a patient who practiced dry fasting regularly developed kidney stones that led to a severe infection. This is not an isolated case. Dehydration is the primary risk factor for kidney stone formation, and dry fasting is intentional dehydration. Heat stroke is another serious risk. Your body regulates temperature primarily through sweating, which requires water. If you dry fast in a hot environment or while exercising, your body cannot cool itself properly. Heat stroke can be life-threatening. Then there are electrolyte imbalances. Your body depends on electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and magnesium for critical functions. Sodium helps regulate fluid balance and nerve transmission. Potassium is essential for heart rhythm and muscle contraction. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzyme reactions throughout your body. During dry fasting, aldosterone increases to conserve sodium, but this comes at the cost of increased potassium loss. Meanwhile, you are not consuming any electrolytes to replace what you lose. This can lead to irregular heartbeat, muscle weakness, cramping, and in severe cases, heart failure. Women need to be especially careful. Research shows that fasting can significantly increase cortisol, the stress hormone, and this effect tends to be more pronounced in women. Studies have found that cortisol levels begin rising within 12 hours of fasting and remain elevated throughout the fasting period. For women, this elevated cortisol interferes with progesterone, a hormone crucial for menstrual cycle regulation. This can lead to irregular periods, increased anxiety, mood swings, and broader hormonal imbalances that can persist even after the fast ends. If you are a woman considering any form of dry fasting, avoid it during the week before your period when progesterone levels need to remain stable. Some researchers suggest that women may benefit more from shorter fasting windows and should be particularly cautious about any fasting protocol that significantly elevates stress hormones. There is also a hidden danger that occurs not during the fast, but after it. Refeeding syndrome happens when you eat too much too quickly after an extended fast. When food suddenly returns to your system, insulin spikes. This spike causes electrolytes, particularly phosphorus, potassium, and magnesium, to rush into your cells too rapidly. The resulting imbalance can cause weakness, fatigue, and heart problems. In extreme cases, it can be fatal. This is why breaking any extended fast must be done slowly with small portions of easily digestible foods. Now, here are the warning signs that mean you should stop immediately. If you experience heart palpitations or irregular heartbeat, stop. If you have severe dizziness that does not improve with rest, stop. If you become confused or have difficulty thinking clearly, stop. If you feel chest pain or pressure, stop immediately. If you faint or nearly faint, stop. If you have not urinated in more than 8 hours, stop. The rule is simple. If any of these symptoms persist for more than 30 minutes, end your fast immediately, drink water slowly, and seek medical attention if symptoms do not improve. Some people should never attempt dry fasting under any circumstances. This includes anyone with kidney disease or a history of kidney stones, anyone taking SGLT2 inhibitors or diuretics for diabetes or blood pressure, pregnant or breastfeeding women, anyone with a history of eating disorders, people with type 1 diabetes or insulin-dependent type 2 diabetes, anyone with heart conditions or electrolyte disorders, people under 18 or over 65 without medical supervision, and anyone who works in hot environments or does significant physical labor. If you fall into any of these categories, dry fasting is not for you. Period. So here is the critical question. Is dry fasting right for you? We need to distinguish between scientific curiosity and practical application. Scientists study dry fasting to understand biological mechanisms. The Zebra Finch study is fascinating science. The Ramadan research provides valuable data. But scientific interest does not equal a recommendation for practice. The gap between interesting research findings and safe for general use is enormous. Supervised dry fasting might be considered in extremely rare cases. This would only be under strict medical supervision in a clinical environment where kidney function, electrolytes, heart rhythm, and blood pressure can be continuously monitored. Even then, it would only be appropriate for healthy individuals without underlying conditions and only for short periods, typically no more than 12 to 16 hours for beginners. The good news is that you can achieve most of the purported benefits of dry fasting through safer alternatives. Water fasting provides the same autophagy and insulin benefits but is dramatically safer because your kidneys remain hydrated and functional throughout. Time-restricted eating, like the 16-8 method, where you eat within an 8-hour window and fast for 16 hours, delivers similar metabolic benefits with minimal risk. Studies show improvements in insulin sensitivity, inflammation markers, and body composition. And you can drink water the entire time. Intermittent fasting with water allowed gives you access to benefits like improved autophagy, reduced inflammation, and better metabolic flexibility without any dehydration risk. The message is clear. You can achieve nearly all the health benefits that dry fasting claims to offer without putting your kidneys and heart at risk. Dry fasting is not magic. It is biology under stress. Your body has remarkable adaptation mechanisms that evolved over millions of years to help our ancestors survive periods of food and water scarcity. These mechanisms are genuinely impressive. But just because your body can handle extreme conditions does not mean you should routinely subject it to them. The science is fascinating. The body's ability to manufacture water from fat is extraordinary. The hormonal cascades that conserve fluid are elegant. The potential effects on inflammation and cellular repair are promising. But the risks are equally real. Kidney damage, electrolyte imbalances, cardiac complications, and hormonal disruptions are not theoretical concerns. They are documented consequences of pushing the body beyond safe limits. If you are curious about fasting for health reasons, start with methods that do not compromise your hydration. Water fasting and time-restricted eating offer substantial benefits with a fraction of the risk. Your body is remarkably intelligent. It knows how to heal, adapt, and optimize itself. But wisdom lies in working with your biology, not against it. The fascinating thing about human physiology is that we do not need to push ourselves to dangerous extremes to access our body's healing capabilities. The same cellular repair mechanisms, the same metabolic improvements, the same inflammatory benefits can often be achieved through gentler approaches that do not put critical organs under unnecessary stress. What is your take on dry fasting? Do you think the potential benefits justify the risks, or are there safer paths to the same health goals? I want to hear your perspective in the comments. And if you know someone who is considering dry fasting after seeing it promoted on social media, share this video with them. They deserve the complete picture before making a decision that could affect their health. If you want more science-backed explorations of what actually happens in your body, subscribe and turn on notifications. We go deep on the biology so you can make informed decisions about your own health. And if you are interested in fasting methods that deliver real benefits without the dehydration risks, check out our video on water fasting right here. The science there might surprise you too. Thank you for watching, and remember, the goal is not to push your body to extremes. The goal is to understand it deeply enough to take care of it wisely.